Fugitive TV, we about to get started up in here. Hey, what's going on, Kim? How you doing tonight? Thanks for joining. Of course, we're going to continue with some updates for the people that might have missed out. I hope your day's been good. Fugitive TV, make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit the notifications, because I'm always trying to hit y'all with an update daily on any case I'm covering. And if there's any case out there that you think that, hey, I should cover or something like that, just let me know. You can send me a message, whatever you want to do. You can put it in the comments, and then I'll look it up. Look it up, see if it's worth it. Good. Glad to see your evening's doing good. Mine's been great. It was hot today. Well, I'm in Florida, so it was hot today, but where is it at? I'm looking at all the videos.
Present.
So supposedly,
I'm trying not to mess.
Jake's got a GoFundMe out there for him and Rebecca. I have not found it, but supposedly he's got a GoFundMe out there, and the GoFundMe is to help them with their legal issues. I'm trying to find it, but I can't find it. I saw from a oh, you in Florida too? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's been killing us the last month. It's been killing us. It's supposed to be hurricane season, but we ain't seen one yet. But Jake has a there were some sources that I saw earlier today that Jake has a GoFundMe for him and Rebecca for their, their legal issues. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but when you get in trouble, if you have a co-defendant, you guys can't have the same attorney. It's a conflict of interest. And the reason why you can't have the same attorney, let's say the attorney gets a deal from the DA, and the DA's like, hey, we're going to give Rebecca a deal, but Rebecca's got to tell on Jake or be the witness. And the attorney is defending both clients, so he can't go on, to Jake and be like, hey, I'm going to defend. He can't do that. So it will be a conflict of interest. So they both have to have two separate attorneys. And I guess they're both going to have two public defenders. Remember the attorney, the Timu attorney that Jake had before? Yeah, yes. There's a GoFundMe out there. Now, I have not seen this with my own eyes, but people are saying there's a GoFundMe out there that a third party has put together for Jake and Rebecca. So I'm wondering who this third party is. Is it the mom of one of them? Is it Mary? Is it Rebecca's mom? Is it Jake's mom? But somebody put out a GoFundMe for them to get legal representation. And not only that, but to help them bond out of jail, because both of their bonds are $1 million. So legal representation, and so they can both bond out. Now in court, they did file a motion to let them both live together if they get bonded out. Because technically, if you bond out, you and your co-defendant aren't supposed to live together. So they made a motion saying, "Hey, can we, live together?" Now, and I'm actually curious. I just thought about something. There is a law. Hold on, what is it? There is a law. I don't know if it applies for every state. Let's see here. There's a law out there that if you and your spouse get in trouble and you're legally married, you don't have to testify against the other person. Let's see if I can find this law. Married couples do not have to testify. Let's see if something pops up. I don't know if it's federal. All right. So there is a law. Let's see what this says. It says married couples don't have to testify against each other in court due to spousal privilege, a legal concept that protects marital marital confidentiality and allows a spouse to refuse to testify against their partner in a criminal case. This is privilege. So yes, there is a law that, yes, they they scamming. They still scamming. They scamming on the GoFundMe's. They scamming on the workman comps. Last night, for you guys that saw, I brought up, I had records of all the 6 workman comps that Jake done filed, and one of them was dealing with his digestive system, his stomach. I don't know how you can get a workman's comp on your digestive system. But he did it. He did it. But the more I was, people were talking about, they need 2 separate lawyers in case one testify against each other. A lot of people don't know about this law. If you ever get in trouble, hopefully you don't, but if you ever get in trouble and you're legally married, it has to be legally married. You're legally married to your spouse, male, female, whatever it is, and you guys get in trouble, you do not have to testify against your spouse. It's right here. It's a law. And it's funny because let's say you got in trouble with your brother, your sister, or even your mom, sometimes you have to testify. But if it's your spouse, you don't have to. So technically, they don't have to testify. Now, I don't know if one of their lawyers are going to bring this up, because what's going to happen is one's going to get a public defender, and the other one's probably going to get a court-appointed attorney, because it's probably what's going to happen since they're in the same judge, seeing the same judge. So the court-appointed attorney usually sometimes is actually a real attorney that takes the case on. So whoever gets the court-appointed attorney might be in a little better situation. That's sometimes how it works. Let's see, you say, you've been there and done that. No more for me, bad enough. Oh, you've been there. Oh, what, you was in trouble with your significant other? Oh, man, that's one thing I never got in trouble with was my significant other. Never got in trouble before. Well, when I was in trouble, I didn't have a significant other back then. I was running the streets, so I didn't have one. But for you guys that are don't know, you've been there. Oh, yeah. Enough. I'm a felon. Having a felony in certain states suck anyway, especially in Florida. Here, you can't live in certain places because every community is a HOA. You can't get certain jobs. It sucks, especially in certain states. Now, I guess it don't suck in Riverside, California, where they live, because Jake seems he can do whatever he wants, and Rebecca, they can do whatever they want. So I don't know. Just like the judge let them go, right? So. The DA, what does that say? Don says, hold on real quick. The DA will contract to another county public defender. You think so? The DA will contract to another county public defender? Think that's what will happen? I know when I got in trouble with my case, I know every county is probably different, but when I got, it probably just depends on how many counties are around, right? When I got in trouble with my case, I was in Colorado. And I remember I filed a conflict of interest with my public defender when I finally got smart and realized my public defender wasn't really doing anything. So I finally got smart and, I told the judge right there in court, it's a conflict of interest. So they were going to appoint me another attorney, and there was actually they're all real attorneys, right? But there was actually a paid-for attorney sitting in the courtroom, and he stood up and said, "I'll take the case." And the judge said, "Okay." And he was my actually court-appointed attorney. And I've been and when I was locked up, I've been with a few people that when they filed for conflict of interest due to their public defender, they got a court-appointed attorney. But it also could be due to where you live at. Where I was at, there probably was the next county. You have the 2 biggest places of Denver and Colorado Springs. I was in Colorado Springs. Denver's about an hour, almost to an hour and a half away. So they probably weren't trying to get another public defender in Denver to come down to Colorado Springs, So it probably depends on where you're at. Now, I grew up in California, and I know California is huge. So they possibly could get another, public defender from a different county. Just who knows what they're going to do. Let's see here. Now, for you guys that do know, we all know, yes, they can get one from the criminal defense. Yes, if an attorney from an actual criminal defense, law office wants to take on the case, yes, they can. That you're right. that can happen too, because that's what happened in my situation. My situation, not when I first got in trouble, and I told you guys yesterday and the day before when I first got in trouble and went to that boot camp prison and all that type of stuff. I actually had a court-appointed attorney, a real attorney from a criminal defense office. I had a public defender at first, but I realized that public defender was not trying to fight for me. So I filed and said that, I needed a real attorney. So they did that. Yes, since she asked first and he was represented, his public defender will come from another county. Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see how that works. Because like I said, everywhere's a little different. I guess it all depends. And not only that, you also have some lawyers out there who want to be, let's say, make a name for themselves, and they'll take the case on pro bono. That happens. I don't know if you guys follow other trials and things like that. There was the trial with the rapper Young Dolph and how he was, offed, and the one guy that they said was one of the masterminds, he just got found not guilty. He went to trial. His lawyer is a top lawyer, and supposedly the lawyer took it on pro bono, and he did it so he can, get his name out there more. Actually, you know what? Remember Casey Anthony? Didn't Casey Anthony's lawyer take it on pro bono? I want to say Casey Anthony. Casey Anthony, the girl who was down here in Florida, was accused of, decimating her daughter. Remember that? I think her lawyer took it on pro bono. I don't think she paid. She couldn't pay for him. She couldn't afford him. So some lawyers will come across and they will take on a case pro bono if it thinks it's going to, put their name out there in the spotlight. On Adana, I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look up. I haven't really got into that, but we could take a look at that. I'll look that up. Now you guys know that Rebecca did do a jailhouse interview from jail. First of all, if you're ever in trouble, guys, do not do no interviews. Do not do nothing, because they're going to use all that against you in court if you say something that you're not supposed to say. I don't know why these two are doing that. Actually, I take that back. I do know why. They want the attention, so that's why they're doing it. So Rebecca did a jailhouse interview. It was like the other day, talking about how she's innocent, Jake's innocent, and everything else. So Jake did a jailhouse interview with the same guy. And we're going to take a listen to what the guy has to say, what Jake said. And it's probably going to make you a little angry, because Jake mentioned his prior with his daughter, her name is now Promise, right? The daughter's name is now Promise. I'm not going to call her by the other name, so I'm going to call her by Promise. So we're going to take a look at what Jake said with that.
It's important to note that law enforcement believe that Emmanuel died as early as on or around August 5th, which was roughly 10 days before the news report that Rebecca and Jake said, where Rebecca was allegedly attacked in that parking lot in Yucaipa. But on that same day that Brian Rocos talked to Rebecca Haro in jail, Jake Haro was out in a field with deputies who were searching for Emmanuel. This is an image per KABC. To this point, it is still unclear why Jake Haro was with deputies in that field
And I still think Jake was lying to them. They went out in the field and didn't find nothing. So Jake was lying to them, trying to get the attention. I don't know if he was going out there trying to look for an escape route. I don't know what he was doing, but obviously he was lying to these people, and that was the reason why they're out there, and they had them all looking like fools. But remember, we're keyboard warriors, and they don't want nobody's help, just theirs.
22 minutes from his house, right off of a highway. Law enforcement said they did not find Emmanuel's remains that day, and they still do not have Emmanuel's remains right now. Jake Haro, though, is speaking from jail. He did an interview.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, Jose Baez represented that. That's right, and he did it pro bono. And when they asked him, he said that case was easily $1 million case. Easily, he could have got $1 million. I believe him. He got her. You think about it. He got her. She was free because of him. If you got the money and your life is on the line, hey, life is priceless, right? You're going to pay whatever. But he took the case pro bono. So there could be a lawyer out there that's looking at this like, hey, you know what? And it's wrong. If I was an attorney, I ain't doing it. I ain't defending them for nothing. But there's people out there that will do it just to get the clout. which is the sad thing about it.
With that same reporter, Brian Rokos, the person who spoke to Rebecca Haro on Sunday. And I spoke to Brian about what Jake Haro told him a short time ago. Joining us now is reporter with Southern California News Group, Brian Rokos. You can read his work on pressenterprise.com, and he just spoke with Jake Haro in jail. Big interview get here, Brian. We really appreciate your time being with us on Law and Crime. Let's get into it. What did Jake Haro tell you in jail?
Well, his interview was different from the one I did with Rebecca, in that Rebecca stuck with the account that she was a victim of a mugging, that baby Emmanuel was kidnapped. And Jake did not say that. He didn't say there was a kidnapping. He didn't say there wasn't. All he said was that Vanessa was innocent. And I asked him directly, are you responsible for the disappearance of Emmanuel? And all he would say was, well, I can't really talk about it on the advice of my attorney. He was unaware that earlier in the day that Mike Hestron, the Riverside County District Attorney, had said they believed that Emmanuel died from ongoing abuse. And so I told Jake what the district attorney had said, and he said, that's not true at all.
Hey, Tara, thanks for joining.
But what he didn't say was there some sort of short-term abuse? I asked him, was there an accident? I gave him, lots of avenues to go down, and he just wouldn't want to talk about that at all. So you wonder what is there?
Considering that.
Yes, he said Vanessa was innocent. And then he also says later on, I don't know if it's in here because I didn't this is my first time seeing this along with you guys. I actually read the article. And he also gives an excuse of what happened with his daughter and how she ended up. And you'll probably get angry. I don't know if he's going to bring it up, but we're going to find out.
That he, the big question that you and everybody has is like, what happened to baby Emmanuel? And he agrees to this interview. And yet when you ask that question, you kind of get a non-answer.
All right. So,
based
Kitty said, who's Vanessa? Vanessa is Jake's ex-wife. If you don't know the story about Jake's ex-wife, but that's the ex-wife. Jake has previous children with Vanessa. He has a 7-year-old daughter that his cousin took in, and supposedly Jake abused her, and she can only use, I think it's like 3 or 4% of her brain right now. She's 7 years old, bedridden, and blind. And they changed her name. I forgot what her original name was, but they changed it to Promise. So Jake's cousin has Jake and Vanessa's children. And he's basically saying that Vanessa's innocent. Vanessa didn't do anything to the daughter, who was Promise.
Off legal advice and all this, why do you think he agreed to do the interview?
Well, he seemed to be a talker. He had points he wanted to make. And the way I approach these interviews is always, I'd like to tell your side of the story in our newspaper. And for a lot of people, that's just irresistible, especially when they feel like they've been wronged, or maybe sometimes they feel like they can say something that would be favorable to their situation. But what he really wanted to talk about in length was his 2023 conviction, where he pled guilty to willful child cruelty. And I didn't put a lot in the article just because I wasn't going to be able to get the other side of the story. But he really dumped on his wife at the time, Vanessa, about her possible role in the very, very serious injuries to their daughter, Carolina, who is now permanently bedridden. Jake had said that he was bathing the baby, and she slipped through his fingers and hit her chest on the sink divider, and that at the time it did not appear she was injured. But then later that night, in the middle of the night, Vanessa woke him up and said, hey, there's something wrong with the baby, and he felt her sides, and he felt a crackling, and that was a.
So you guys hear that? You guys hear that? The excuse he gave of what happened to his previous daughter. Supposedly he was giving her a bath, And while he was giving her a bath, he picked her up or something, and she slipped out and she hit the divider. And that was how she ended up how she is today. He supposedly dropped her and she hit the divider, is what he is saying. And then not only that, what was the reports that was going on yesterday? Supposedly he said he accidentally rolled over an Emmanuel while he was sleeping. So all these accidents he's doing by accident to these children, who does he think we are? Come on. I'm starting to think that they're not saying it, but I'm starting to think that they did a lot of drugs. They did a lot of whatever you probably can sell them and threw in front of them. If you can get high, they probably was doing it, and they probably think everybody's just high and will believe what they say. Jake has been married 3 times. Vanessa is the second. Isabella is the first. Isabella is the first. See, I didn't know that. Is Isabella the wife that he has the son with? Supposedly Jake. I know there's a Jake Jr. So is Isabella the one that he has the son with? Promised mother is a second ex-wife. The other ex-wife, son who plays football game. Yeah, so that must be the one he has the son with. He didn't abuse her. The hospital pics don't add up to the abuse and how she looks like now. It's way, way different. That's weird. Only a day in a probation. Yeah, that's what the judge that gave him, and we're going to get into that too, and how the district attorney threw the judge under the bus when they should be taking the blame for this too. See, Bean Baby, I live in San Bernardino, and I'm gonna tell you the truth is this true: the baby is alive and protected. Tell you the truth is, if this is true, the baby is alive and protected. You're saying Emmanuel, if Emmanuel's alive, he's alive and protected. That's what you're saying. How did she get broken ribs? She supposedly slipped and fell. I didn't find a GoFundMe or Give Send Go. Thank God. Yeah, supposedly there's a GoFundMe from a third party. It's not under Jake and Rebecca's name because they're in jail, so they can't do it. But some third party did this GoFundMe, and in a description, it's in the description. I'm trying to find this GoFundMe. I seen somebody pull it up on the video, but unfortunately I was driving and couldn't save it. Junkie stunts. Yeah, they're all junkies. All of them are junkies. You should do calls. Hey, I'm working on that. To do call-ins, I'm actually working on that. You could be one of the first people to call. Eli is the oldest son. Jake Jr. is now Carlos, sister of promise. Okay, yeah, so I thought there was a Jake Jr. And the cousin has all of them, if I'm correct. And even the cousin has the 2-year-old that they have now. This dude is weird because I live in San Bernardino County. I've been to San Bernardino Discount Mall, and man, they're picky. They don't just buy any gold, especially coins, and the owners are Asian. He said the owners are Asian. Oh, man. So, wait, let's rewind this a little bit and get back to what he said, what happened.
To their daughter, Carolina, just because I wasn't going to be able to get the other side of the story. But he really dumped on his wife at the time, Vanessa, about her possible role in the very, very serious injuries to their daughter, Carolina, who is now permanently bedridden. Jake had said that he was bathing the baby and she slipped through his fingers and hit her chest on the sink divider, and that at the time it did not appear she was injured. But then later that night, in the middle of the night, Vanessa woke him up and said, "Hey, there's something wrong with the baby," and he felt her sides and he felt a crackling. And that was a description that was in court documents, and that was a description he gave me yesterday. And he made various accusations about Vanessa, about her suitability as a mother, and about the way she was conducting herself that night. And he made it clear that.
So it don't make no sense. It don't make sense. Because if you read the reports of what happened to Promise, You know, she had the cracked ribs. That's what they're discussing now, the broken ribs. But what about the brain? What about the head trauma? That's why she can only use 3% of her brain. So how did you dropping her on the divider crack her ribs and she got the brain damage? How high were you holding her for all this to happen? Usually when you're washing your child, you know, you're usually on your knees, right? How do you stand up and bend over? Usually on your knees. So it doesn't make sense. Any of y'all ever washed your baby in the bathtub and you're standing up fully? Let's see here. Let's see what some people are saying here in the chat. Does anybody else think he abused these women to the point they believe him in a sense? I think Jake is very controlling. He obviously is. Look at the picture right here. Look at his eyes. I think he's very controlling. And not only is he controlling, I really can't speak nothing on Vanessa. I brought this up before. I really don't want to talk too much about Vanessa just because she's not involved in this. So I don't want to bring her, you know, any of her history up. But we both know, and we all know, that Jake and Rebecca are both addicts. We know this. I mean, people are doing drugs in their house. His brother OD'd supposedly in the house. I don't do drugs. Ain't nobody gonna be in my house doing drugs because I don't do them. It ain't happening. If I don't do it, you ain't doing it in my house. So obviously they all do something, right? Rebecca's nephew, Charlie, OD'd. The one that died, that they're saying August 5th is around the same time Emmanuel might have passed. He OD'd too. So if all these people are ODing, and then not only that, Rebecca's brother, the one that got 50 years for offing his girl, supposedly he had an alcohol issue. And that was why she was going to leave him and he decided to do her. So if all these people around him are doing that, I'm pretty sure they're doing it too. And not only that, if she's getting high, it is easier for Jake to control her. It's easy to control somebody who really doesn't have their mind. And it's sad, but it's true. I also work for the county as well, and they have this thing for domestic violence, and CPS are so big here. Okay, domestic violence places, they keep you private, and you're in there, no phones. And there are a lot of places like that where if you're a woman and you say whatever happened with your spouse, they will, obviously take you in, but you can't have your phone, and they're trying to keep you anonymous and keep your situation private. If ribs and stages of healing, those are old injuries before he supposedly dropped her. Yeah, it's not adding up. It's not adding up. Now here, just found you. Hold on, we're reading some more of these chats here. Thank you, Joyce. Thank you. I appreciate that, Joyce. Thank you for joining Fugitive TV. Here, I give you all the information I find out, even if it's fake, even if it's false, even if it's true. I'll give it to you, and then we're going to discuss whether it's believable or not. Homegirl didn't get 2 eyes, black for no reason. Well, yeah, look at her eyes. It looked like she got 2 now. And the news thing, she only had 1. And I still say, if they would have never made a big episode about this, they would have got away scot-free. Nobody probably wouldn't even known Manuel was gone because a lot of people never even seen him in the first place. Charles Manson twist. Is this his defense attorney? It definitely ain't me. Definitely not me. See, I'm just reading some of your chats here. I lived it for 15 years. My ex 22 years ago was very similar to Jake. Joyce, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that, anybody, man or woman or man, has to go through any sort of controlling relationship, whether it's with their significant other, anybody they live with. Sometimes it can even be, a parent, or it can even be a child controlling a parent. There's cases like that too, where the parent is maybe elderly. So, I mean, and I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad you don't have to deal with that no more. The SUV video, if you zoom in to the far right, you see movement, you enhance the video, and I'll see Rebecca has baby in her hands talking to Jake's lawyer and some lady with a mask. What SUV video are you talking about, Being Baby? Let me know what SUV video you're talking about. People have said she gave birth at home due to the meth in her system. Yeah, I actually did read. I actually saw another YouTuber today. You know, I believe they did too, because if there's meth and there's fentanyl, whatever the hell they're doing, they're going to take the kid away. So I do believe that's why there's no birth certificate, that they gave birth, and that's probably why there is no exact age of the kid. They don't know. They don't know what day she was born, and that's probably why there's no hospital pictures out there. If Rebecca's charges, they will change. Yeah, they can, but they can also add more stuff to it. But they can go down to just manslaughter. How would any be with somebody like that, knowing all that to his daughter? You know what? I think, be honest with you, I think Rebecca's own past is probably not pretty. And there's some things we probably don't know that she did that maybe she could have got away with. I brought up an article, and nobody can still know if it's the same Rebecca or not. I brought up an article that happened in 2009 about Rebecca Bushin. How do you say the name? Bushishin. Only difference was this Rebecca spelled her name with an H. But in 2009, this lady faked a baby on a lot of blog posts, and people caught her. I'm not saying that this is the same Rebecca, but if it is the same Rebecca, I mean, it just explains this girl just wants attention, right? But I think that she's already on drugs. She's out of her mind. Not only that, she's also 41. He's 32. So she's probably like, oh, this younger guy wants me. And, you know, sometimes lust can play a role. Looking at some of your chats here. I mean, I got called delusional for stating the facts. Look, if no one ever knew they had a kid or even visited, why even announce it, especially if covering it? Yeah, I mean, I said the same thing. Why did they even say anything? Now, I'm glad they did, because now everybody knows about it. But imagine if they would have kept their mouth shut. Nobody wouldn't have known nothing. When you do a crime, you keep your mouth shut. You don't tell, you don't try and, you don't put attention to yourself. I like this guy because homegirl had 2 black eyes, and if he would have stuck to the story together, they would let go. They are horrible humans. Yes, they are. Very. I meant the guy in the video with the mustache who was discussing Jake's story about dropping the infant. Oh, okay. Oh, the video we're watching now. I'm going to rewind that. The video we're watching now. Hold on, let's see. The video we're watching now.
That he thought he was innocent. He made it clear that he wanted to take the case to trial, but that he felt like he got pressured to make a plea.
Let's see if I can find
and he thought the sentence of 180 days in work release, where you show up to the jail and then you're let go at night after picking up trash or whatever, and a suspended 4-year prison sentence was fair.
We're at 9.
In his
Still do not have Emmanuel's person who spoke to Rebecca Haro on Jake Haro told him a short time ago. Joining us now is on Press and big interview. What did Jake Haro tell you?
Okay, so that's
stuck with Jake, and I asked him about it on the advice that Emmanuel died said, and he said,
this again.
So what is that?
You and everybody. He agrees to this interview, and yet legal advice and all
make. And like they've been wrong. Really wanted to the story.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I
to
can
their
see the SUV.
Vanessa, the story said that, but then the description that was about that night to make a picking up trash or whatever. He said that
much the opposite opinion. Jake Haro in jail. What stood out to you about his body language?
He was sweating. He was wiping his face. Of course, he's in a jail, and it's 100 degrees out there in Banning, so I don't know what sort of air conditioning he had in there. He didn't seem scared. He didn't seem worried. He seemed more about.
Read some of these chats. No, I don't have a call-in number. I am gonna I might start doing that tomorrow. Actually, probably won't start doing that tomorrow because I have a lot of people that want to call in and want a video in, you know, and they want to give their 2 cents. And hey, we can all go for it, and we can all, share everybody's opinions. Hold on real quick. My camera's dying. Let me change the battery. I'll be back in 10 seconds for you guys. Hold on. Let me change the battery in my camera.
Out getting his point across about how he felt like the district attorney was and other investigators were making the assumption that just because he had the 2023 conviction that, oh, he must have killed
All right.
baby
That was
Emmanuel.
quick. I'm
He
back.
feels like that they made that leap without evidence. And so that's what he's concerned about. But he wanted to talk very definitely.
Did he, even though he gives kind of and the advice of the lawyer, I can't really talk about this, talk about that. And then like sometimes for me in an interview, maybe you try to take, you go left and they say, not there. And then maybe, there's other little pieces you can try to peel away. Like, did he give any nugget whatsoever that stood out to you as
Hey,
far as
Justice
what
Lane,
we've
I'm just
heard?
now
He was
seeing
on
you. Thanks for
TV
joining
saying,
in.
please bring my son home. And then now he's in jail. Did he say anything that kind of stood out to you that kind of piece together what he might think happens or no, obviously he knows what happened?
Yeah, obviously these are, he acknowledged that these are very serious charges. Uh, he acknowledged the people that have been calling for his hide, the people
Yes,
on
Lisa, you
social
need to send me a
media.
lot of batteries.
He really didn't offer much about, the
Oh,
search, resuming the search. We've gone back and forth. He was cooperating. He was not cooperating,
you
depending
know
on
what?
who
I
you
saw a
talk to.
comment
And
that he must have did an exclusive interview. I want to know who's allowing him to do his interviews. Who's allowing this? Is the jail allowing this? And how is he doing it? So I heard supposedly there's video. He's actually taking video of these interviews. So who's allowing them to do these interviews inside the jail, and not only do it inside the jail, but do it so quickly? I've never, that I can remember right now, think of a case that's been big where the person who's being blamed for the crime did a jailhouse interview within a week of being arrested. Have you guys? I've never heard of that. I think this is the first I've heard of that, where it's been a week. Usually they do a jailhouse interview after everything. They've been already found guilty, innocent, whatever it is. Then they do an interview. I've never seen the person do an interview within a week. Now, I have seen some people do an interview maybe a little bit before trial or something, but not within a week. That's, who's allowing this?
he said
I'm
he was
starting to think
fully
everybody's crooked over there.
cooperating. And that dovetails to something that the San Bernardino, the San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes said at the news conference that
Ray
they had been
Marcel. You could
receiving
call me Ray
cooperation
Marcel.
from suspects. So whether that included
My
Jake
author
Haro
name, which is going to
saying,
be in my
I
book,
buried the
Ray
baby
Marcel.
out by the freeway, I don't know. Jake wouldn't address how he wound up with the investigators out in the Badlands there, as they're
Unless
called
you the
on
police, don't call me anything.
that brushy hillside. It seems like there's something there that he's not saying, and it's more than just, well, Emmanuel was kidnapped, but I can't jump that far ahead.
Yeah, because it's yesterday you have the big report comes out from News Nation, and then there was this nonprofit that had sent us a note.
Yeah, anything you say. These people are doing these interviews, and I bet you the district attorney is sitting there like, yes, say something, slip up and say something. Please keep doing these interviews. Yes. Because all these lies that they talking about in these interviews are guaranteed you're going to be right in the courtroom when they go to trial. How many of y'all think they're going to go to trial? And how many of you guys think that they're going to plead? Or do you think one might plead and the other might go to trial? Good question, right?
the Uvalde Foundation for Kids, which were involved in the search early, then they weren't. And then, both, it
Yes,
seemed very
Marcel.
similar that there was this jailhouse confession, they said. The informant, a Perkins informant, which I had never heard of, who, according to the report, they go in, they sit with Jake Haro. It's actually a law enforcement officer.
Yeah, Lisa, you're right. A lawyer, a defense attorney, I wouldn't allow to interview. If I'm sitting in jail and somebody wants to come interview me, nah, you're going to have to wait, buddy. You got to wait. You got to wait. Like, I got a book out now. I didn't write that book while I was out doing my hours on the run. No. I have to make sure everything was settled first before I do all that. And I got to make sure certain things in that book I can even talk about without getting in trouble. And even though it's been 15, 16, 18, 20 years ago, I still got to make sure. These people out here doing interviews like some idiots. They really want this attention. They really want the clout. This is like people when they get excited, when they make a Facebook post and they look at all the likes. That's almost what they're going off of. Like, look how many likes I can get. It's crazy.
And he spills it to him
Straight up
saying,
nuts.
the report said that Jake had rolled over on Emmanuel. That's how he died. And then they put Emmanuel's body in the trash. Law enforcement has pushed back on that and said that is just not true. Was there anything
his
in your
previous lawyer was
conversation with
probably
him
mad.
and in covering this
Mad.
story that stood out to you when that first started to make headlines yesterday?
Yeah, I was unaware of.
Now, yes, the district attorney did say that no pleas will be on the table. But, think about this. I guarantee you, if one of them wants to flip, let's say Rebecca wants to start telling on Jake, and Rebecca wants to tell the full story, and Rebecca wants to tell them, hey, I know where Emmanuel's at, and I know exactly where you can find him, but I need a plea deal. That's when we're going to see a deal. That's probably when we're going to see something, is when they probably can't find anything or they can't get the full story and one of them wants to flip. Then we're probably going to see, I don't think both of them are going to get a plea deal. That ain't happening. But when one of them wants to flip, that's when we'll probably see a plea deal happen just for one of them. But we don't know which one. But one of them is probably going to get it, and then the other one's probably going to go to trial. Now, if they never find Emmanuel, yeah, they're going to trial. It's happening, And if I'm their attorneys, if I'm Rebecca's attorney and I'm Jake's attorney, we're not accepting the plea deal if there's no body. We're going to trial, because, yes, you could be convicted if there's no body, but it's an easier defense because you never found the body. So you can't prove how I even did anything to him. I could have gave him away. I could have sold him. I could have I did all this to cry my eyes out, and he could still be alive somewhere, but I just wanted the attention. That's a whole different charge. So, it's kind of tricky.
Those reports at the time I spoke with Jake. But looking at the reports, one was that, supposedly that Jake had, they had killed Emmanuel and they put him in the trash. And the other one on that show from the same person was that Jake had buried Emmanuel out in a rural area. And the reporter on that said he double-checked, triple-checked with his sources, and he believed both accounts to be true. But the odd thing is both can't be true. It has to be one or the other. And now law enforcement is saying neither of them are correct. So, it comes back to when people use unidentified sources for information, you really need to think hard about whether that's true. I mean, we at the Southern California News
We
Group
cannot believe nothing
are very,
this man's
very, very
saying.
reluctant
Jake saying
to
anything.
use anonymous sources unless we know that the person is in a direct position to know, and it's something that we might be able to confirm later on. So it's hard for people, as you've seen with all the vloggers and bloggers and amateur online sleuths and so forth, putting forward their own theories about what's happening, and private people trying to organize search parties. It's very difficult for the public to be patient and wait for law enforcement to do their job and to get to the bottom of the things, which they eventually will. So it's just they want answers right away. They want them right now. And
yeah, when Jake's talking, if I don't believe anything Jake says, I ain't gonna believe nothing Jake says until he says something that's proof and they find something. It's hard to believe that, man, and almost hard to believe Rebecca too. Who knows? But I think, who you think might start telling first? You think it's gonna be Rebecca? You think Rebecca? See, Jake is a pro. Jake's been to jail. Jake knows what jail's like. Jake's been in the courtroom. We don't know if Rebecca has. This might be Rebecca's first time. She's only been in there a week. And when you're in there let's give it about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you might start breaking. That's when your reality might start hitting you and you're like, hold on, wait, I ain't smelled fresh air in a month. I can't tie shoes because I don't have shoes to tie. I can't even take a real shower. Or let her get into her first fight in there. Something might happen. Because there's women in there ain't gonna like her. So let her get into her first fight or her life get threatened. She might start turning. Bean Baby, I start believing stories when you see people come forward saying hey, I know him. I went to school with him or I worked with him. There's a birth certificate, we can't get it, or medical records due to HIPAA laws. Yeah, due to HIPAA laws, the press conference and charge document confirmed the birth date. I know they confirmed the birth date, but I don't think they ever exactly said how they confirmed it. Because he's such a narcissist, he thinks his interview would convince everybody it's not him. She was already quivering, shaking, and rocking. Yeah, I think she's going to be the one to break. I think that she is going to be the one to eventually break and cave in. And reality is going to hit her. And things like that. There's a story. There's a story real quickly. There's a story out of Canada. This is an older story. I think it was like the 90s or something like that. Some of you guys might remember this. They made a movie out of it too. It wasn't a big movie. It was a low budget movie. But it was a story out of Canada where this girl got with this guy, and the guy ended up being very controlling. And the guy used to go out and mess around with a lot of prostitutes. So the guy wanted his girl's little sister, and I think she was 15 or 16 or something like that. I can't remember. But he was pretty much lusting after his girlfriend's little sister. So the girlfriend, who was under this trance, brought the little sister into the house. He ended up offering her, but it was by accident. And they covered it up. So she covered up, she helped him cover it up, even though it was his little sister. And then from there, it continued. He was going out and getting women that were walking the streets, bringing them home. He would do what he want, and then he would do the same thing, hide her off somewhere. I think it was 6 or 7 victims. I can't remember. But anyway, eventually she had enough because he was beating her. Eventually she had enough. She snapped and she told on him. And because she told on him, she got of course, the better plea deal. Now in Canada, there's no death penalty or nothing like that in Canada. They don't believe in that. So I think he ended up getting life in prison, but she's out. She's already out. I think she got 20 years or something like that for everything that happened. She's out and already married again. But I bring that up because I know a lot of times when you see a spouse with these big cases like this, a lot of times a woman will break, especially if she's the one that was being controlled and being in an abusive relationship. But it could take a while because if you watch that movie or know the case about what I'm talking about now, it took her a long time. It took, I think, 5 or 6 bodies for her to finally wake up. Like, hold on, this ain't right. But it took a while. Some fluke on TV is saying Rebecca dropped a secret note that day. Needless to say, she booted me when she told me her info was off TikTok. Oh, my God. Anybody is saying anything, man. Anybody is saying anything. You know what I do? This is what I do. When I hear something on TikTok or even YouTube, I try to see if I can see another person saying it. I'll try to see if more people are saying this, and then I look to see who's saying it. So, for example, if I see somebody, let's say we're getting this information, we're watching Law and Crime right now. If I see Law and Crime say it, it's more believable because now they're saying they got their sources, probably they're more reliable from, Judy Smoothie off TikTok. So that's how I get mine. Didn't somebody from San Bernardino in here that say Emmanuel alive and protected? They said if Emmanuel is alive, they are protected. That's what they were saying. I mean, the police said this is our challenge. Help us with this investigation. You will be protected. Let's see here. Yeah, probably. Oh, that makes sense because they haven't found Emmanuel. I thought maybe there was a rumor like that. She has no soul, dude. No, there is no soul. Look at her. She lied, protected him for... No, there is no soul. She had one job, to text 911.
We'll guide you through how to stream on YouTube.
Lisa, you said she had one job, and that was 911. Yeah! You are right on that one. One job, and she flunked. San Bernardino's weird. And another thing I wanted to get into on this is that press conference yesterday with the DA and how the DA pretty much threw the judge under the bus. Now, yes, the judge was wrong. We all know the judge was wrong. He shouldn't have gave Jake a second chance with all the evidence and everything that was gone. Even if he did say he accidentally dropped her, yeah, okay, believable, right? Do you think the prosecution should have went in harder on the first case? Do you think the prosecution should have went in harder on the first case? Yes, the judge gave him the sentence, but the judge also has to listen to the prosecution. I am wondering what the prosecution said. I'm wondering what they brought up in the courtroom. Those are my thoughts. Now, the district attorney, the DA, did say yesterday, that the DA did not approve of what the judge's sentences was, but he never actually said the fight they had. And I'm wondering, because I equally blame them too. Bro, they live 1,000 feet from the sheriff's station, so I give no passes. Do they really live 1,000 feet? They could jog there in 10 minutes, you're saying? Are you serious? We all want to see body cameras, right? Yeah, my email is marcel@raymarcel.com. Marcel@raymarcel.com. I'm going to put it in I'll put it in the description actually. Hold on real quick. I'll write it here for you guys. If you guys want to send me anything on any cases, any videos, any links, it'd be appreciated. And I'm going to pin that to the top. That's the email, marcel@raymarcel.com. System failed over and over again. They talked about judge, but didn't talk about why his, wasn't in jail. I mean, I think the whole system messed up. Yes, like I said, the judge, the judge shouldn't have gave him that. But what about the prosecution? I know when I was in the courtroom, the prosecution was going hard on me. They was going hard on me. And that was why I ended up where I ended up. The prosecution. It wasn't the judge, it was them. They said the sheriff's station is the next block over. I didn't even know that. Really? They live that close to the sheriff's station? I saved the family at Bernie House, called the cops, and when the first responders came out, not even I was allowed to be in the area. Yeah, they got social media reporters running in and out of everything over there. It's like a ruckus. Did you hear about the guy that broke into the house? He broke into their house and was charging tickets to do home tours in Jake and Rebecca's house. Y'all hear about that? It happened last week. The guy broke into the house and was charging people to do home tours. I was like, where was there was no cop sitting in front of the house? There was no nothing. They just left. I don't know. Beats me. Remember the Utah 5 or 4, whatever it was, the 4 people that got, off in Utah from the guy. Remember that? Remember how long, if you remember, there was a cop sitting out in front of the house forever. They didn't want nobody going in the house to touch anything. Remember that? Here, yeah, they was doing whatever they want. Now, I do know somebody said in the chat yesterday, I didn't look this up, but somebody said in the chat yesterday that that district attorney who held the press conference yesterday is running for office. He's running for something in the state of California. That's what somebody said yesterday. So if that is the case, that is why he threw the judge up under the bus like that and didn't take no blame. Thank you. Yes, everyone hit the like. Yes, thank you, Kim. He must have been informants or families connected or something to have got off with such light sentence. The informant part, I can see that. I can see an informant part. Confidential informant, I can definitely see that. A lot of drug addicts are confidential informants because a lot of drug addicts, they usually get caught with some drugs, right? And usually don't get caught with big stuff. You never see them caught with kilos. Drug addicts usually don't get caught with stuff like that. They get caught with small things. They might get caught with an 8. They might get caught with something. And then when they get caught, they don't want to go to jail. And investigators are asking where you got the 8 from, where you got this from. And usually they start snitching or whatever it is. So I could see the confidential informant. That part, I would believe that if that came out. Yes, the prosecution did. I'm just asking what the defense was, though. I know they asked for prison, but what was the defense? What was their argument for him to get prison? I'm wondering what the argument was. Because we all seen cases like, all right, let's take OJ, for example. Let's go back to OJ. The glove don't fit, right? Let's go to OJ. Prosecution didn't argue hard enough. Prosecution didn't do the facts right. And we all think, some of us think that OJ did it, but the prosecution didn't come correct. So OJ got free. Now, OJ had to pay later on. Remember when he tried to rob and got his stuff back, and the judge was like, oh, we're giving you 30 years because you got off the first time. Prosecution, even when we brought up Casey Anthony, prosecution didn't come correct. So I'm wondering what the argument was, what the prosecution said. That's what I would like to know. He wants to be, what is the district attorney's name? Let me look him up real quick. Let's see what he is. DA, let's see. Jake Haro case. Let's see what the name is. Let's see here. Jake, date of birth, Rebecca Renee. Here's the filing, false police report, the M word, can't say it on YouTube because they like to take you down. The district attorney's office. Oh, yeah, we know it's from, but what's his actual name? Let's see here. Is it the sheriff or the district attorney that's running for something? So the case is being all right, so the case is actually being prosecuted by Assistant District Attorney Brandon Smith. Brandon Smith is the one that's prosecuting this case. Why isn't it the lead attorney? Why is it the assistant? Brandon Smith. Let's see. District Attorney. See if there's any record on him. Trying to see if we can find anything on him. District Attorney, let's put California. Is this the same guy? Or is it not? Hey, it could be. Costa Mesa, California. What's the next one say? Let's see. He's got on LinkedIn. Attorney at Riverside District Attorney's Office, Brandon Smith. I'm wondering who this Brandon Smith is, the assistant. Here's his bar. All right. It looks like he's been admitted since 2004 to the state bar. So he's been an attorney since 2004. So he's not a new guy. But who's the main district? Who's the main? Who's the guy that was talking yesterday? So Chad, you're saying Chad Bianca is running for governor. Sorry, I'm just now seeing that. So the sheriff is the one running for governor, the one that called us the keyboard warriors. Let's see here. Oh, he pops right up too. Let's see if anything pops about him running for office. I'm just curious. Oh, look right here. Bianco for governor. Is that how you say his last name? Bianco or Bianco? Help support our campaign. Meet Chad. Chad was born in 1967 at Hill Air Force Base in Ogden, Utah. So Chad is from Utah. He's not even from California. And grew up in a small mining town as the eldest of 3 boys. Raised by hardworking parents, he was instilled with values and integrity. Donate, volunteer. So yes, Chad is running for governor. It's right here. What is his priorities? Chad is running for governor. So the man who got on stage yesterday and was rude is running for governor. Interesting. Yeah, they say the DA doesn't usually prosecute. You're right about that. But sometimes on a high-profile case, they might take over. Thank you. I'm going to check that video out. Thank you for sending that to me. Thank you. You can, yeah. Sue for slander as a keyboard warrior. Oh man, I'm gonna sue and get workman's comp like Jake did. I'm gonna say my stomach's upset. So is he Republican or Democrat? Let's see. Wait, he's got the bear. Wait, no, that's the California bear, right? What is he? Your guess is a Democrat? I mean, I don't see California voting a Republican in office. I mean, things can happen, right? But I really don't see that happening. Let me see here. Let's see. What is he? Bianco, Chad. Whoops. Chad. Political party. Let's see what happens. Oh, he's a Republican. He's actually a Republican. He is a Republican. That might be why he. I don't know. I don't see a California voting a Republican in though. That'd be like here in Florida them voting a Democrat in. I don't see that happening, but I mean it could. You never know. He supported 2A and CCW, so +1 for that. Republican. Michael Hestron is the DA. Is he the main DA? He's the main one, Michael? That state is saw loss, protect our babies. Why I moved. They're doing a big investigation for the burglary here in Cali. And from what I've seen, that guy, Charlie, they had a funeral for, was busted for burglary a year or so before he passed. Oh. All right, so Beanie Baby. I don't know if I still have it up. But yesterday I had up all of Charlie's record. I had Charlie's full record up. And Charlie actually has a few burglary charges. His first ever charge, I think, if I remember correctly, was 2011, I think it was, or 2010. He's been arrested 21 times, what I counted from what I saw. And it was 2 burglaries. Everything was possession. He was beating on girls, beating on his girlfriend, ammunition, and prison. He had pretty much all meth head behavior was what it was, every single charge. So since you brought that up, I believe it because his first ever charge that I saw was burglary. And that was like I can't remember what year it was, but he was 19 years old for his first charge. There's an obituary for Jake's brother. I actually had it up. There is an obituary for him. Hold on. I did find one. It just takes some searching. Let's see here. Hector Haro. There is one for him because I had it up. Whoops, I spelled Hector wrong. Hectro. Hector. Hector Haro. Obituary. Yeah, there is one for him. That's not it. The weird part about it was under the obituary page, you can write, here it is right here. Here's the obituary. So here's the obituary for Hector, Jake's brother. Hector was born on February 5th, 1991, passed away May 6, 2021, under the care of Weaver Mortuary and Crematory. It doesn't tell you much. You know what? That's the weird part about it. It doesn't tell you. Usually, obituary will tell you who was left behind. It will tell you your mother, your father, your kids. It don't say nothing. It don't say nothing about his family. And then if you keep going down below, family can leave, messages and things like that. This is the only message that was left. It's from Marilessa Alarcon. That was it. That's the only message that was left. Nobody left a message under that. So I found that kind of odd when I saw that. Cali politics is changing. You think it's going to change? You think Newsom did a horrible job to the point that you think they're going to change it? You think they're going to actually probably vote a Republican in? Like I said, it could happen, but I just would be shocked. Charlie is the nephew. Charlie is Rebecca's nephew. Charlie's the one that passed away, and the funeral was the same day they say Emmanuel might have passed himself. So, yes, August 5th was supposed to be the funeral Rebecca went to, and that was for Charlie. Charlie was also a drug addict. Rebecca went and sold coins, and the coins that were stolen, that's where they're connecting. Was that from the pawn shop video that Ahmad was doing on the Tia? Supposedly, speaking of Ahmad, supposedly TMZ sent Ahmad from on a Tia assist and deceased. I don't know if you guys seen that video, but supposedly TMZ sent on the Tia Ahmad assist and deceased. Kind of messed up. Jake's brother Hector died. Yeah, he died in the house. That's how Charlie's little flyer to his, yep. I mean, it's not confirmed, but the coins being stolen, but here in Cali. So they're probably trying to put two and two together if that's the case. What kind of coins were these? Were they collectible coins? Gold coins? What kind of coins were these? There is a second fundraiser on the GoFundMe. What's the second fundraiser? Yeah, I got to go back and see where I saw. Hopefully I can find where I saw the actual fundraiser. Because they don't have their name on it. It's just in a description. That's it. And it's a third party that did it. And it's a name I never even heard of. So I don't know if it's one of their friends or crackhead junkies, or something like that. It also could be somebody who doesn't even know them that just put a GoFundMe out. You never know. Man, ain't that something? This guy's running for the guy who was rude is running to be you guys' whoever's in California in this chat. He's running to be your next mayor. I don't know the guy that well. I just know him from the interview. I just know him from that. And from that, I was like, ooh, this guy is he's kind of rude a little bit. I don't know. Trust me, people hit licks like crazy. They hit up the big homes where they're not home. They're on vacation. Oh yeah, it happens all the time, especially here in Florida, Atlanta. Atlanta, it's a big thing out there. They're going to the area of Buckhead. Buckhead is like their Beverly Hills almost, and if they'll look for people who's not home and breaking their home real quick. Go do your house chores or house chores. Hey, I got to do some too. Actually, you just reminded me. It's 10:45 at night here, but we don't have a news station here within 45 minutes away. Interesting. Interesting. Let's see what some other people are saying about this.
Good evening, friends, and welcome to another edition of Crime Time with Duty Ron and Ed Wallace. You know the drill. We're retired New York City police detectives and 9/11 World Trade Center first responders.
See if I can find something, if there's any more updates before we go. Because on this case, it seemed like there's some new information every hour. Don't it? It seems like there's new information every hour.
New details as investigators keep up their search for baby Emmanuel in the Inland Empire. And this roughly 2 weeks after he was reported missing. Thanks again to GC7 Hulu and wherever you stream. I'm David Ono.
And I'm Giovanna Lotta. Now the baby's father is speaking out from his jail cell. Investigators claiming the baby died from child abuse, even though no remains have been found.
A search off Highway 60 turned up nothing. Inland Empire reporter Leticia Waters has been following the case from the beginning and now joins us live. Leticia.
Well, David and Giovanna, Jake Haro is speaking publicly for the first time since his arrest last week in a jailhouse.
So you heard one was a Trump gold coin. The second fundraiser was for the nephew's funeral. Yeah, so one was a Trump gold coin. Hold on. I want to see something. A Trump gold coin. Let's see. Trump gold coin. I wonder which gold coin it is, though. Which gold coin is it? Because let's see, you have this one, right? This is only $12. That's some real crackhead-ish if they tried to pawn a $12 coin. But then you got this one. So I wonder which gold coin it is. The President Trump Victory Gold Medallion, $4,500. $4,500 is this gold coin, if this is the one that she tried to pawn. Keep swimming, Charlie. So I wonder what's that about. There's a turtle gang, but my reporter also speaks about turtles. I never realized it said keep swimming, Charlie. I got to read that. I do know that Charlie and Hector and, or I don't know about Charlie. I don't know about him, but I do know Hector and Jake are gang related. I do know that. Be careful showing his videos. He will strike you. Ooh, who's gonna strike me? Please let me know so I don't show the video. Let me know. I'll cut that out. I'm gonna start working for the public defender office. I start next month. Know what's up from the inside. Yes, please send me the information. I will keep you anonymous. I definitely will. I will keep you anonymous. You don't got to worry about it. Turtle Gang is a content creator. The story, no affiliation with these two losers. Well, thank God. Interesting. So this coin is $4,500. If this is the coin that she stole and tried to pawn. Like I said, it all depends on which coin it is. There's a $4,500 coin, there's a $12 coin, and there's a $5 coin. So whatever which one she got. Oh, there's one on eBay too for $10,000. $10,000 is a gold Trump coin on eBay. So I wonder which one she tried to pawn. I'm breaking up. Is my camera and my laptop saying we're going to sleep? It is almost 11 o'clock here. And I know some of you guys, I know there's a person from Seattle in the chat. There's a couple people from Cali. One's from Florida. Before I leave, I want to know, where's everybody from? I want to see how far I reached out to. The other day, I had some people talking to me all the way from the UK about this story. This story has reached the UK, all because they made a big scene and went on the news. It reached the UK. That's crazy. I actually have somebody in my inbox sending me stuff from the UK. I mean, on this case. Oh, we only paid $20 from it? So it was one of the cheap coins. It wasn't an expensive one. Oh, so she thought she struck real gold and didn't. Texas. Oh, okay, all right. Oh, we got 2 people in Texas. Houston. I'm actually going to go visit Houston before Christmas. I'm going to go visit this winter. I don't know if you, not winter, I'm sorry, no winter down there unless you're in North Texas, right? But I'm going to go probably this fall. My birthday's in November, so I might go around my birthday or right before. I'm going to go look at some property out there. Not to move, but just investment, things like that. But I really haven't kicked in Houston, so I'm going to go out there and kind of see what it's like. Riverside, California. I'm originally from Los Angeles, California. That's where I was born and raised, but here in Florida. Live in San Bernardino, literally on Waterman, same street as the Waterman Discount Mall. Fort Worth, all right. Yeah, you don't have winter, just like here in Florida. We only have summer and humid. That's all we have. Summer and humid. Ain't no winter. Summer, humid. Wait. We get a cold front for what, 2 weeks? A week? I know here in Florida we get it for like 2 weeks. It's like in January or February, whenever it wants to pop up. And then you got to put your hoodie on for a week or 2, and then you're back wearing, that's how it works here. But make sure you guys, whoever just joined this chat, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications. I'm going to give you guys, before I go to bed, I'm probably going to do a video of I'm going to do some research, actually. I might do a video and just upload it for you guys on if I can find some more stuff. If not, I'm definitely going to do another video in the morning of a breakdown. And what was it, Saturday? So I'm actually going to Miami Saturday and Sunday, so I got to go out there. So I don't know if I'm going to be back on for Saturday, Sunday, but we'll see. I'm going to be out in Miami, another place that's hot and humid. Missouri. Oh, welcome, Missouri. Welcome, Missouri. He knows he's being set up. That's why Jake was confessing. He got the flyers. He goes, sees it, says it's missing. Some people even question if Emmanuel even existed. Some people even question. I don't blame them. I can't sit here and be like, no, some people are questioning that if Emmanuel even existed in the first place, if this baby was stolen, or some people got a lot of questions, and I don't blame them. I really don't. A one that's a year older than a daughter. Are you talking about the daughter who's bedridden now, Promise, the one that's 7 years old? So we have Jake Jr. Jake Jr. was born, we don't know. They never said if he was abused, but Jake Jr., I guess, is the oldest one. And he was born, with problems because the mom was drinking a lot of alcohol. And then I believe there's the sister Promise. And then there's the 2-year-old, which is right, that was born before Emmanuel, and then you have Emmanuel. So I believe there's 4 kids altogether. I do know it was from Promise, the 7-year-old. That's when she was, I believe, 2 years old. She was 2 years old when the abuse happened. She's 7 now, though. Because remember that abuse happened a long time ago. I believe he went to court the first time, like 2019 or 18 or something. I don't remember exactly the date. Not Jake Jr., the other one. Yeah, I think it's Promise, the little sister. She's 7 years old now. She's the one that is bedridden. She can't use her brain, can't see, or can't talk. But she was 2 when it happened. She was 2 years old. I never said he was 7 months. She tried to trick you. She tried to get you caught up. She tried to get you caught up. She tried to get call them people on you and say that your son was Emmanuel, huh? That would have been messed up. You'd have been all over the news, man. All over the news. Oh, another that's older than Promise. If you find out that info, you see the email, send that to me. I'm interested. Oh, the one that, okay, yes. The one lady at Walmart. The lady at Walmart that he worked with when he got all his 7,000 workman comps. Oh, I don't even know how people knew him because he was on workman comp so much. But the one lady at Walmart did say, she tweeted or something saying that that she worked with him and that his last relationship that he got out of was a very abusive. He abused her, and she did say something about a kid. You are right. So I'm wondering if that kid was not his, if that was like his stepchild or that was the kid of the woman he was with. I forgot all about that lady. That might be the kid that the whoever woman that he was beating, that might be her kid. Jake got 5 kids, 3 from a boy from the mama, a girl and boy from mama, 2, and then 2 kids from Rebecca. Yeah, what about the Walmart? Let's see. Hold on. Before I go, I'm gonna see if I can find this Walmart. Hold on, Jake Haro. Walmart employee. See if something pops up. Okay, here we go. This is from Tiffany T. Hold on.
At Walmart, he was in a relationship with and had a source has now
All right. So let's see what this woman says.
Come forward alleging that when Jake Haro worked at Walmart, he was in a relationship with and had a child with another coworker. Now, this information is coming from a local content creator on the Tira. I will tag him down below. The anonymous source said this: "Me and my mom and my brother used to work with Jake 8 years ago at Walmart, and he was dating one of the other Walmart employees and ended up having a kid with her. Their relationship didn't last. They were co-parenting, and one weekend he had the baby, and while the baby was in his custody for the weekend, something happened where the baby had gotten severe head trauma, causing brain damage to the baby. From my understanding, there were no criminal charges from that incident, but then some years later, another incident where he did get criminal charges for child cruelty. This guy definitely has some issues, and I believe they unalived little Manuel, and they're trying to cover up their tracks." So, another child that he has allegedly done something to. Now, I've also seen where a lot of people are questioning how and why Emmanuel has crossed eyes, because allegedly there are older pictures from shortly after his birth where he does not have crossed eyes, and we know from Rebecca's sister that she has stated previously that he doesn't have any disability and that doctors have said it's not from a medical condition. So what is it from? It's Tuesday, August 19th, and baby Emmanuel is still missing. I'm going to tag this.
Why are you giving me this? No, this is my information. You actually.
So y'all heard that? Y'all, so yeah, it popped right up. Right when I Googled it, it popped up. Supposedly, there is a lady out there that worked with him at Walmart and had a child, which makes sense if the child is older than Promise, because he worked at Walmart, I think, before Promise was born. So that might make sense. So who's this? What's her name? What's the person's name that works at Walmart? Yeah, we got to find who's the lady or the girl he had a child with that works at Walmart. What is her actual name? That is probably the one you're talking about, Lisa. Thanks for bringing that up. I forgot all about the Walmart story. Is she the one that actually just put a restraining order on him? Somebody just put a restraining order on him supposedly not long ago. I'm trying to see if anybody says anything in the comments. Yeah, I don't know. Need to find out who the Walmart coworker is. I have his workman comp records from Walmart, so I know all the years he worked there. So I could possibly maybe try and look through the years he worked there and see. I don't know, but I'm just wondering who it is. Now, if I do find out who the woman is, does she want her name out there? That's the big one. Because I don't like putting people's name out there, you know, that has nothing to do with it and they don't want to be brought up. That's the hard part. That's Isabella for her and her teen son. So is Isabella the one? So was he married to Isabella? Or this person that supposedly worked at Walmart with him, Isabella? Or is Isabella and the girl who worked at Walmart two different people? I thought I had a lot of women when I was in this. Dang. Think there's a restraining order from the woman from the playing football. Yeah. Eli is the son. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can figure out the whole Walmart thing. Where did the source come from? Who started the source? Who originally saw this and brought that up? That's what we need to find out. Lisa, who's the mother 8-year-old? I'm thinking it might be the Walmart, whoever the lady or whoever worked at Walmart with him. The age adds up because he worked at Walmart. When I was looking at his workman comp records, it added up to, I believe, the last workman comp record was right either around when Promise was born or right before Promise was born. It was right around there. So it could add up to where he was probably at Walmart messing with somebody and had, you know, and then had Promise's mom at the home too. It kind of makes sense. That could have happened. So the first wife is Isabella. So the co-worker might have been a side piece. Possibly could have been a side piece. I wish I still had his hold on, where is his, see if I can find it, because I had his workman comp records up. Let's see if I still have them up anywhere. Yeah, I had his workman comp records up and they all had dates on them. Let me see if I still got them. I got Charlie's. I got the nephew. I got Charlie's criminal charges still. I got that. Hold on. This is where yeah, I don't think I have them anymore. Let me see if I can find it real quick for you guys, because I had it. Let me see. Jake Haro, workman's comp. I think I found it. All right, so let's take a look here. This was Jake's workman comp records. Abby Blabby is the one who originally got them. Let's go. When was the last time you worked at Walmart? Click out. I already am signed in. What are you doing? Hold on real quick, guys. Let me actually go into my other profile. Let's downsize this. Get rid of that. And we're going to go to my other profile that I'm actually signed in on. And we're going to take a look at the dates. Let's see here. All right. Why is it showing me not logged in still? I hate computers sometimes. All right, so actually I got it right here. November 2018 was his last workman's comp claim. November 2018 is his last workman's comp claim from Walmart. So his last workman's comp claim was 2018 from Walmart. So if there is one that's like right older than Promise, and if Promise is 7 years old, it can add up. So that story could be true if he does have a kid with a Walmart coworker, because he did work there. The workman's comp claim is right there. Yeah, bottom line is both of these people need to be locked up. Both of these people need to be in prison. But I'm going to try and keep you guys updated. Make sure you like and subscribe. Here it's about 11 o'clock at night. It was fun being with you guys. But I got to get off. I got to go do some stuff. I got kids I got to take care of. So I got to make sure they're situated and everything for school tomorrow. Even though it's late, they should be in bed, right? But I got to go make sure. So make sure y'all like, subscribe. Anybody who sent me emails, I'm going to check that out tonight. I'm going to check out all the emails and links you sent me. I'm going to do some digging. I'm going to do some research and everything else. Even if you got another case that you want me to take a look at, we can take a look at it. We can all discuss it together. That's what I believe in. We discuss it all together. Even if your view is different than mine and my view is different than yours, we discuss it together. That's how we all should be. Hope y'all have a great night. Thank you so much. Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, Pebbles. Thank you, Lisa. Talk to you again. Lisa, make sure you get them batteries for me, all right? Get them batteries for me. You have a good night, Kim. I try to acknowledge everybody who's in my feed and has been talking, because all you guys are the co-hosts with me, all right? Thank you, Just D. And I'm gonna get a little thing where people can call in too. If you want to call in or video in, I'm gonna start doing that too, because I know a lot of people want to chime in and and want to talk about it. I know we all do. We all have the same goal. We all have the same goal. We all want Emmanuel found, whether he's alive or not. We still want him found. We want closure, and we all want both parents to pretty much rotten HE double sticks. We all want that goal. None of us on this chat don't want the other. So you guys have a good night. All right, Bean Baby. All right, Tara. I'm out of here. Take care of yourself.